Hi, this is a quick overview of what is We Change the World. In a nutshell, We Change the World is about change. Change on two dimensions. One, the external change, having a transformative impact as a change agent outside there in the world. And we at the same time fully acknowledge that, of course, any change out there comes only from an inner change and a change of perspective and inner values and, of course, behaviors. So We Change the World is both read as let's change the world and we change. We are in a permanent process of changing. It's fundamentally organized around two main principles. One is what it is. It has a very holistic scope encompassing many different layers. Actually, it is including the planetary level, our Earth and environment, and with the living beings in the animal and vegetal realms, and all the different crises and problematics we have around this, from the post-petrol environment, our pollution, the way we treat animals, and we deforest or ruin our landscape and natural resources, for example. Another facet is about the society itself and the crisis that we are facing at different levels, from the basic and fundamental human needs and rights which are not respected, to the way the development and growth is going, with a bigger cleavage between the rich and the poor, for example, and how people feel not so easily integrated and expressing themselves in society. The third element is, of course, individual crisis. It's about me and my role and my positioning, my relationship between me and myself, my ego perception and my psychological balance, my relationship with me and others, and of course my relationship between me and what is beyond, whatever we want to call it, but what is transcending us or what is beyond our selfish personality. So that's the what it is, a very holistic scope encompassing every kind of potential change at a very personal up to a very societal or planetary system. A second component, very interlinked, is how to do that. Very nicely, we want to change the world and to change ourselves and see the interdynamic, but how to support in an impactful and effective way such a change. Here it's, sorry, I have to click here. Here it's about three different pillars, which are the core components of the We Change the World approach. One, it's about setting up foundations and ensuring that we awaken the mind of people through a resource and opportunity center. In this place, it's like a directory of resources. It's like a gold mine where I find through a knowledge portal all the information I ever dreamt about finding somewhere. List of NGOs, list of websites, list of complete directory of websites, of documentaries and books and movies, inspiring material, but also people, who's doing what. And here we find also another component about opportunities and projects, what is happening to sort out these problems, who has initiatives and projects to propose different approaches. A third component of this resource center is to be able to measure the impact of the different initiatives and different projects and different NGOs to know what is effective. A complementary component now is about the social network. This is called a change agent network, and this is like compared to a Facebook or a LinkedIn, but this time for change agents, for people who are engaged in a way or another in participating to the change in themselves and in the world. So if you have Facebook to share your social news about vacations and photos and fun in a light way, if you have maybe LinkedIn to share about your professional career and achievements, there is no place yet where you would have a network of people who are sharing about how to transform the world, sharing about inspiring stories and material, and connecting to each other instead of being isolated with their own thoughts and worries and concerns and initiatives and ideas for transformation. Relating to each other develops empathy and realizing that some people are suffering, are in difficult situations, and that helps us to understand them better, or that gives us the desire to contribute and to realize that I can connect with people and support them and help people to help others. So that's the social part of the network. The third core component of the weChange.world platform is actually the academy and coaching. It's a whole section where there is an academy for education to learn how to better change the world. Whereas I'm a very active activist or a very active social entrepreneur trying to build a project, to create an NGO, or to launch some initiatives, or whether I just want to find how best to invest my time as a volunteer, how to select the best NGO to offer my time, or which program and initiative has the best impact and where I could invest a bit of my money, for example, then there is a whole academy coaching and teaching you how to be performant, how to discover and how to do that. There is a whole coaching system as well, with some mentors coaching people to help them move from a disempowerment status or habit to get to know that they can move up the ladder of becoming dynamic actors and do things. And a third component are the tools for action, where you find everything that you can do to concretely act to help transform the world. Whereas again, it's giving money or time, or it's giving advice and expertise, or it's sharing a network and connecting people together which may work together, or it's giving encouragement and support, or it's participating actively in the building of such a platform in order to help others, which is what I'm doing. And that's, I think, one of the maximum leverage that I can have from my time, my energy and my money, is instead of giving something to someone, is to create a platform where everybody can then meet, connect and find a way to transform the world. So these are the three core components, which are very, of course, in a synergy, because on the social network I define my own profile of interest. Which type of problematics in the world are more touching me? Is it more the future economy? Is it more microfinancing? Is it more helping fighting against hunger or poverty? Is it more helping elderly people next to my town, or etc., etc.? And so by defining my profile, I'm meeting here in my social network other change agents, other people who have the same concerns, are suffering from these problematics, or are trying to deal with them and to address them in creative ways. I also find immediately a selection of resources, movies and documentaries and other material to get to know what's the state in the art in this domain, which is of interest to me. And I'm proposed with a whole set of actions, like I mentioned before, or being activist, or boycotting, or pledging, or supporting others who are doing any kind of initiative in the domains which are of my concern. Every time I'm reading something, or I'm getting some information from the resource center, or I'm taking an action as an actor of change, this gets logged into my profile, and so I can connect with other people who read the same thing, had the same concern, participated to the same actions, or vice versa. By connecting to these people, I can see what they are about, who they know, what they have done. Maybe they participated to 1 month volunteering for an NGO in India, and they give a feedback about it, and this is inspiring me. So there is a very strong synergy between these three facets, which are actually about opening the mind and getting to know, opening the heart and getting to connect, and then opening or freeing up our willpower and get empowered to get really a citizen of the world and a transformation agent. The third component is who. Who is doing this? Actually, there are two layers. There is a group of people who are members of weChange.world and who are building this platform and this whole system. And then there are people who are more the consumers, who are using this information and connection and tools to act and change the world. But there is a nice blend between both, because the whole approach is not to tell people what are the right resources or which are the facets or the themes to focus on, or who are the best people to connect with, or to influence them the way they should act and perform actions. Vice versa, this is an open source approach, like Wikipedia, for example, meaning that everybody is actually contributing to the platform by creating some new content, by sharing new material which are insightful and could inspire others or help and coach others, by playing different roles which vary through times, from being simply a friend of the platform and then sharing some of the resource, as I said, or taking some more active role and spending a bit more time to coach others, or being the ambassador of weChange.world outside. And then of course we have a team, and a core team highly dedicated to build and maintain and make this platform evolve so it can grow, and there is some steering from just a board of directors. The whole approach is that everybody can play different roles and have different level of implications. But this is definitely an open source approach, absolutely non-for-profit, and everybody is contributing to the enrichment of the whole platform, the whole network, and the whole set of tools in order to support all the others to fully develop their own potential and express themselves as completely as possible as an agent of change and play the role that they wish to play. At that stage, we could highlight that some people will get really far away and become maybe like big Gandhis or people transforming the whole world, and some others may be much more with a lower profile or a focus on a local problematic, being interested only in their country or in their street, and only about a limited problem, but doing some hours of service or supporting through spreading the word and about a certain topic. So it covers the whole spectrum of involvement of the people. Same thing with the platform. People can go in and be very involved, or can just be less at the core and come in and out and participate, or be just more consumer and use that to identify what's the best place to go and offer my time in India for a month of volunteering, to give this example. The last component, why we do that, actually the whole why, it's based around the 3 V's, which is really the axis mundi of our whole approach. By this I mean this is the essential core, this is the central point around which everything revolves. 3 V's stands for vision, vows and values. By vows we mean what we vow to do, so the mission that we propose ourselves to move on towards, or how we do it. The vision is of course how we envision the result of weChange.world as an impact in the world, and how the world could be, and how the inner transformation can be. And the set of values is fundamental also, how, around what, which are the core principles around which we want to operate. I mentioned one, the open source. It's not a platform owned by someone who dictates and shape it in a way to influence more this or that. It's absolutely open and gets enriched and grow into the direction it wishes to grow. Another value is that it's absolutely holistic, and it encompasses the whole approach that we mentioned. When I put all the components together, I have the what it is, this holistic scope in red, which is part of my logo here in the center. The orange component, how we do it, how we implement tools and means and services to support the change, is the second part of the logo. And the third part of the logo is actually what is here in the center. This is what we covered, it's just this little dot. This is the axis of this wheel. These two red and orange triads are actually, you can picture it turning around this axis. And this axis is the who, these different people with different levels of involvement, and the dot of the dot right at the middle is really the three V's, our clear vision, which is articulated with clear mission or vow, and then the core values, which are keeping us focused and keeping us on track. So with this core set, then the rest can move and can turn, and the dynamic and synergies between what I can do for any of this scope, whereas it's personal, societal, or planetarial, can operate. That's the dynamic and the synergy that we foresee for We Change the World. So in a nutshell, everything is summarized into the logo you see in the middle. And that's what I wanted to convey to you through this quick presentation, We Change the World in a Nutshell, today. Enjoy your day. Bye.